borrows a mobile phone and bravely dials 999 himself. This is his call.
What's your emergency? I thought it was David Beach Boy down to I thought it was the top end. Okay.
Alfie's clearly distressed. The call handler isn't sure how badly hurt he is.
Are you injured? Yeah. Anyone broken and smashed my head against the wall? Bear with me a second, alright? Stay on the phone today. Alright.
Alfie needs urgent medical treatment, but the call handler needs to pinpoint his exact location on the mile-long promenade.
So you're down by the promenade in Peterborough? Yeah.
But before he can give his exact location, the mobile signal starts to break up.
By where, sorry?
The line goes dead.
No.
The call handler dispatches the emergency services to the promenade area to see if they can find the injured boy. Ross Armour is one of the volunteer Coast Guards on duty that day.
I was alerted by the pager going off to respond to a potential person falling off the cliff at the time, and that's all the information we received.
As the rescuers head to the area back on the beach, Alfie is comforted by his puppy, Max.
He sort of like sat next to me and sort of like calmed me down a little bit. He started licking the cuts on my leg.
When they reach the promenade, Ross and his team quickly locate Alfie. A local ambulance crew arrive. Photographs taken by one of the rescuers show just how far Alfie has fallen. 20 feet below the coastal walkway, paramedics assess the extent of his injuries.
He was in quite a panicky state. There was a slight cut to his head, and the ambulance technician had told us then that he either had a dislocated knee and maybe a broken bone at the time.
The paramedics give Alfie painkillers as the blue-suited Coast Guards try to work out how to get him safely off beach. Police officers get in touch with his dad.
We instantly thought the worst. You know, I know the drops down there, and I just thought he could have been dead.
Medics fear Alfie may have injuries to his spine and pelvis. He needs specialist treatment fast. But the evacuation won't be easy. The slippery stone steps are too dangerous. The Coast Guard volunteers will need to carry him further down the beach, around the stone sea defences and up a boat slipway.
We knew we had a certain amount of time to get Alfie off the beach before the tide comes straight back in, and would have covered right up to where Alfie was at the time on the beach.
It takes 20 minutes to carry Alfie strapped to a stretcher to the foot of the slipway. Then the rescue workers rig up a pulley system to heave the youngster up the 50-foot slope.
Going home in a few days.
Back on the ward, his condition takes an unexpected turn for the worse.
Alfie was sat in bed, and his head started to swell. He didn't look right, but that started to spread across his face.
Alfie is sent for a head scan. It reveals he has a fractured skull and a bleed on the brain. He's rushed into theatre.
I could see the fear in his face.
He said, "Oh, I'm really under the bar." He said, "I think we're going to die."
I was scared that I'm going to wake up from the depression.
But he pulls through, and the 5-hour operation is a success. And after 12 days, Alfie is well enough to go home.
He really wanted to get home to see the dog. Since he's come out of hospital, they've been inseparable again.
He said, I didn't know I was at first because I looked completely different.
4 months later, Alfie is well on his way to making a full recovery.
It's been sort of one step at a time, getting out of the wheelchair, getting out of the leg brace, getting rid of one crutch.
He said there's a long way to go, but he's definitely every day he moves forward.
The family are all too aware how close Alfie's walk on the beach came to changing his life forever.
You know, he could have been in a wheelchair permanently, or if not dead. It was, you know, he was very, very lucky.
People that helped me with that for saving my life, I feel really grateful. If they weren't there, I probably wouldn't be here.
A very lucky boy, and lovely that his pup stayed with him. Now back to Wales, and a story that shows exactly how far emergency services will go for people in real need. Above and beyond this one. In Clanishon, Cardiff, mum of 3 Sue is trapped in her attic bathroom as fire engulfs her home. She isn't sure if her 2 grown-up sons are in the house, but knows her dog is locked in the kitchen. Fire crews are rushing to the scene, and emergency call handler Hayley is trying to keep her from panicking.
They'll be there any minute now. What the f*** as long as you're safe, okay? As soon as the crews get there now, they'll come straight in and they'll get you out properly.
Hayley is using all her years of experience to keep Sue calm, but even she is feeling the heat.
You get a few butterflies in the stomach and you are thinking, hurry up.
I'm really scared now. I know. He's doing really, really well. He's booking in attendance at any minute now. Have you got stairs to the attic?
Yeah, I think so. I'm standing it. Sue did think that part of her house was collapsing. I did try to explain to her that there was a possibility that it could be our crew smashing the door down or, sort of making their way into the house.
Hayley's right. 3 fire trucks and 15 firefighters have arrived. Neighbours photographed the scene as the fire crew assessed the situation.
The bedroom was well alight. Smoke was issuing way up above the house. Lots of orange glow coming out from the bottom of the stairs. You knew that when you entered the building, you were going straight into the fire.
And that's what they must do if they're going to save Sue.
At that stage, Sue was still alive. Because of the severity of the fire and the amount of smoke, we were concerned that if it wasn't done quite quickly, that Sue could probably die from this.
That fact hasn't escaped Sue.
It's in my bedroom next door. I think he's always coming through the window. All right, so what do you think? Where you are? They're there now. All right, they're going to I'm not sorry, it's the door. It's just a wooden door. That's okay. As long as the bathroom's all touched up, that'll keep the fire away for about 15 minutes. So they're there. They're going to get you out now in a minute. Right, so panic. Oh, well, I am. Sorry, I am. I know you are, darling. Don't worry. They are there. Oh, Jesus. Is that 2 feet away from me? All right. How big is the window, Sue, in the bathroom? Is it big enough to get out? Oh, that's big enough to get out of then, isn't it? Oh, I think you're hitting right now. Oh.
Sue is cut off at the top of the house, above the fire. Down below, Anthony and his colleague Mike are heading into the inferno. To reach Sue, they need to get past the siege of the fire in the first floor bedroom.
The flames were getting closer to us, so we then started to knock back the frames. We then got onto the landing where the bedroom was. At that stage, we decided to put a lot of water within the bedroom because we knew that if we were going to rescue the casualty, we had to come back down past that bedroom.
How many people is it now? It's Christmas now, is there? Yeah. Any minute now, you'll hear them.
1 floor below, Anthony and Mike are still fighting their way upwards.
The stairs were quite narrow. We had to come back on ourselves quite a few times. The zigzag designs of the stairs into the loft. The thermal image camera wasn't working anymore because of the plasterboards falling onto the lens. We used our feet to check that the stairs were still fit to use.
The door opened and I saw a tiny little pinprick of white light.
The 999s will report the moment the fireman reached Haley's job is done. Downstairs, the fire is to the burning building. They communicate as best they can, shouting through their hearts.
Not back into all the sound, and I think it's a matter of informing Stu that, you know, right, we've got you, and we're going to make our way down the stairs.
It was very dark. I was just sandwiched between the two of them. I was brought down the staircase, taken straight out of the house.
They're just in time. Seconds later, flames can be seen shooting out of Sue's attic bedroom.
We just went straight into an ambulance. And I was thinking, I don't need an ambulance, I just want to see my children.
Their daughter's at university, and her niece, who's told eldest son Andrew, has been tracked down in town with friends. And Rob managed to escape the blaze before the fire crews arrived.
And then the daughter, when his accident next to my ambulance. And as soon as I saw him, I thought, I have to say, nothing else matters. He's okay. I think it's what she's thinking. Yeah, his parents are happy to do with his black. All I could see was his blue eyes, but I thought, that's my boy.
Also safe is the family's border collie Pippa.
So I just sort of, I really complete them. But I feel we've got a house that, you know, we're still alive, and that's all that matters.
With their home destroyed, the family moved into rented accommodation for the 3 months it takes to rebuild. And Sue pays a visit to see the crew and Haley, who'd been at the end of the line, giving her hope.
She met all of us that were involved that evening. Brought me a lovely big bunch of flowers in as well, which was really kind of her.
An investigation later reveals the fire was probably caused by a faulty charger in Sue's son's room. Firefighter Anthony knows how lucky they were that night.
Sue had this, we were walking up, the cardiac smoke detector was activated. If that hadn't happened, then the outcome would have been completely different.
I didn't realise how dangerous it was until I went to an awards evening. The two fire officers who got me out, Mike and Tony, they chose to go above the level of the fire, putting themselves at, at risk of loss of life. So I will be eternally grateful to all of them for the rest of my life, because literally I probably would not still be here today if it wasn't for them.
A happy ending, thank goodness. See you next time on Close Calls.
And that will be tomorrow here at the same time. After all that real life tension, I think some afternoon drama is in order. Thankfully, Dr. Blake's Mysteries is here at 2:15. And next, it's no mystery, it's a hunt for bargains.
I can't do this anymore.
What are you doing?
Sure, I'm going.
You got black shorts?
Because I love you, that's why.
Can it really end this way? Find out in the brand new final episode.
You're on your console.
At 10 on BBC One.
What does it take to create a smash-hit restaurant business? Great food, certainly. Great people, definitely. But first, you need a great idea.
If I was to invest, it would take £500,000 to £750,000.
We quit our jobs.
Yeah, it's your job.
You're not going to leave without an investment.
We have 1 hour to come through this door and make you an offer.
£1 Million Menu continues tonight at 9 on BBC Two.
You know when we get to that bit in the middle, you follow those forward.
The rehearsals have been going on in the kitchen, I shouldn't wonder, for the remaining 7 culinary contestants. Britain's Best Home Cooks are back here on BBC One at 8. The hunt is on.
Exeter is one of the most historic cities in England, with a past dating back to Celtic times. And this is the Guild's Hall, a beautiful colonnaded structure in the centre of the city.
Even the quay here has been around since the Romans built the place in 55 AD. And the custom house behind me, well, that was built in 1680, making it the earliest in Britain. So steeped is this place in history that our teams had no excuse not to come up with a good antique or two. So let's go bargain hunting. Yeah. The Antiques Fair here at West Point, just outside Exeter, is jam-packed with over 400 stalls, each of which are stuffed with goodies to tempt our teams. Let's take a sneaky peek as to what's coming up.
Despite all their running around, the Reds are in no hurry to hand over any cash.
It's just all about the money. Don't want to spend any.
The Blues drive their expert crazy with their catty choices.
Oh, it's horrible. It's the worst thing I've ever bought.
And the auction brings some nasty surprises.
Ooh.
But before that, let's meet the teams.
On today's show, we have 2 teams of friends who just happen to work together, which is lovely. For the Reds, we have Ben and Megan, and for the Blues, we have Jeanette and Mike. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Very nice to see you. Now, Ben, what exactly do you do for a living?
I help train and coordinate a team of instructors at a children's residential activity centre.
You're instructing the instructors.
Pretty much, yeah.
What sort of things do they get instructed in, Ben?
Anything. We do a lot of stuff. We sort of do beach stuff. We do ropes activities, so climbing, abseiling, all sorts of bits and bobs.
So it's like working in a holiday camp.
It really is.
I mean,
it really is fun.
And you're the holiday meister. You're
A fun little saying at work. We say, you don't have to be crazy to work here.
helps. Well, how lovely though. So there's obviously a jolly nice atmosphere, largely out of doors then.
Yeah.
For most of it.
Pretty much all of it's outdoors.
Yeah, jolly good. And some pretty oddball things for charity, I guess.
I have, yes, I played a few for charities. There's a game called Throwball. I've walked across the Isle of Wight on stilts before.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, how wide is it, 20 or 25 miles or
Yeah,
something?
it's 25 miles, pretty
Gosh.
much. Yeah.
So what's it like walking that distance on stilts? It must be quite tiring.
It was quite tiring. I mean, everybody said that it was impossible and I'd never do it. And then when I got to the end and my parents came over the hill and they saw me, I was like, yes, I'm here. I'm finally here.
25 miles is quite something. Megan, you work in the same activity centre, but in a different job altogether. What's your job?
Indeed, yeah. So Ben looks after the activities. I'm the guest care manager. So I make sure they're all prepared to come onto centre. And then when they get there, I make sure they're having the most fun possible, playing games, singing songs. Yeah.
But you're pretty active in your spare time too.
I do. I like all sorts of stuff. Baking, interior design. I'm a big fan of. I have
real passion for that.
But interior design, so you're going to enjoy going around the fair today?
I'm going to love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Spending 300 of our money.
Yeah, that's the bit of it, yeah.
So what's your joint approach going to be shopping on Bargain Hunt today?
We want to go cheap.
For you?
That's our big plan.
What,
We
spend
want to go
nothing?
cheap and cheerful.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What, how cheap? Under £50?
Under 50p, hopefully.
Oh my lord. I should be giving you 300, you know, Ben. Anyway, we shall see, because funny things turn out on this programme, I can tell you. Anyway, looking forward to it, I hope. Great. Now, Jeanette, you might say that the red team are our activity leaders today, but you two are entertainment leaders, aren't you?
We most certainly are. I'm the manager of a theatre. I book all the acts and take care of all the marketing, drink lots of tea and tell everybody else what to do, really, Tim.
Smashing job. And you get to go to all the shows?
Yes, if we want to. Some of them I'm a bit selective about and I'll give a miss. Because
they're not much cost. No, I didn't say that.
Your words, not mine.
Now, you're also incredibly creative online and in the world of advertising.
Yes, I blog and I write books.
Yeah?
I do. I've written and published a children's book.
What's that all about?
It's about one of my cats. It's called The Adventures of Dolly Kitten.
Is it good?
Of course it is.
Have you sold any copies?
Yes.
Have you? How many?
Oh, last count, 10.
Oh. Now, Mike, it says here you've known Jeanette for 25 years.
Yeah, we originally met through mutual friends, but sort of lost contact. So it's only really been the last 2 years that we've been reunited.
So what do you do in the workplace with her?
Well, I am one of a team of 7. I'm the only man. So I predominantly do what I'm told. I make the tea, but they do let me look after the bars, and we do a lot of outdoor events. So I look after that. So I book all the acts and organise those.
Okay. But outside work, you're a bit of a sports fanatic.
I do love the sport, yes.
Yeah, tell us about that.
I play tennis, I play some golf, and I'm a big supporter of local football team, Exeter City.
Somebody's got to.
Yeah, not too many of us at the moment. That's
not exactly. So what's your tactics going to be with the Reds?
I think we had some tactics, didn't we?
But they're fairly fluid, aren't they?
Yeah.
They change on a regular basis.
So I don't think we've actually got any tactics anymore.
No.
We're just going to take
Okay, that's just going to go with the flow.
Yeah,
that is very, very, very good advice. And talking about flow, here comes some cash. There we go, look. £300. You know the rules. Your experts await, and off you go. And very, very, very good luck. Gosh, well, what's going to happen next?
Ruffling feathers for the Reds today is Phil Searle. The heat is on for the blue team, and it's Caroline Hawley.
Right, Mike, Jeanette, tactics.
Have we got a plan?
To be honest, we were going to spend cheap, give you all the money, then we were going to blow the lot, give you nothing.
Well, I'm looking for something cheap, something functional, something quite fun.
So there's no strategy now. We're just going to see what happens.
I want something colourful. You can use it.
I'm going to take it as it comes, and then Jeanette will decide and tell me what I'm doing.
Absolutely.
And I suggest a profit.
Okay.
Fingers crossed.
Right, teams, your 60 minutes starts now.
Hey, let's go.
You definitely don't want to knick-knacky stuff, do you?
No.
Why don't we go straight on?
Okay.
No sooner have the Reds launched themselves into the shop than Captain Phil navigates them towards that cheap functional item they were after.
Do you like that?
I do like that. What is it?
What is it?
What is it?
Shit.
Okay.
I think that's really cool. And I don't know how to do
It is
it.
different.
But correct me if it's off a not a boy, what do they call them?
What do you call it?
Part of our rope.
It's a big lump of rope. Yes, thank you. Isn't it wonderful having some technical knowledge? This is in fact a big lump of rope, but that joke is right to fender. Just a cool thing. Who's going to buy that? It's a decorator's not an auction. Hanging from the ceiling. Make a great doorstop, wouldn't it?
Yeah, the nautical theme. Definitely. Well, let's,
Yeah, I'm more than happy with
Let's
that.
go for it. It's different. Let's do it.
Yeah, of course. For you, £10.
Special deal.
Special deal.
Yeah.
Shake on it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Shake the lady's hand.
Thank you very much. Bargain.
On those. On to the next.
Done.
Got that down there.
Ben and Megan are sailing through their shop with that fender, or pile of old rope to you and me, bought in just minutes. The Blues, meanwhile, are still waiting to make their first purchase.
What about this?
Oh, wow. Oh. Now, how much is he? Surprise.
Let's have a look. That's £35.
35.
Vintage
Oh,
stone
he's
waiter.
quite
It
nice.
is quite good. What would it be for?
Well, I think he would have had a tray originally. Can you see here?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe a little glass or tin tray. He'd be great now in a
I
shop.
think it's quite
Yeah, I
good.
think I've seen him in restaurants, things like that.
Yes,
You little
yeah,
menus
shop
or whatever.
whistles.
Yeah.
But he's great. He could hold your drink for you.
Do you know what sounds better by the minute? I think we should have a word with
Maybe
the
a small
stall
drink. That's
holder.
what I'm worried about.
What do you think? That's £35. Really? How much is that likely to make if it went to auction?
I think it needs to be £20. But that doesn't sound mean.
Okay.
We can always find out.
Yeah, should we go and have a try?
Yeah. Hello there. You all right? We love your dumbwaiter.
Do you?
Yeah. So if you could do on the price.
Have I got some there?
You see, you've got 35 on at the moment, which is a really fair price.
It's a very fair price.
Is there any movement on it?
I could do him for 30.
It's up to you.
£30.
Quite rarely, I think we're going to agree on something, aren't we?
Are
So I
you?
think we ought to go with that. So,
You do like it?
Oh.
yeah.
Can't be
Are you going to
mad.
put the glass in?
Glass included.
There's another prize over there.
Is
You're
that a
good at
cheap
this.
one?
Oh.
£30.
Yeah, I think so. That's very
Thank
kind.
you.
Thank you.
Well, our team's 10 minutes gone, and that's one item down for both of you. Meanwhile, Phil's mind has turned to fun and games.
Do you play chess?
We do actually.
We do.
Yeah,
We play
we
chess.
do.
You play chess. Here we go. Follow me. Follow me. Follow me.
Looks as if Phil is a man on a mission.
He's found it.
I saw this earlier,
Yeah.
and I think this is a real cool thing. It's a
It is
maple.
nice.
It's a maple frame
Yeah.
with what looks like a Jade's chess set, but it isn't. Jade's chess sets would make £200 to £300. But I think it's quite a fun thing, and I love the way it's got all these little watercolours.
It's
I see.
different.
Yeah. Can I just ask you, and what would be the best on that?
The chess set, 110, on the chess board, 165.
Can I have a look at the board?
Yeah, sure.
Do you like the board?
I mean, the board's the thing with, I like the idea, the board's the unique thing.
Do you want to have a look, or do you want, or are we wasting time?
Leave it to you, Meg.
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I do love it. I love all the pictures, but just for the price.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think?
I agree.
All right. We're going to go find something else then.
Yeah.
The boss has spoken, Phil. You'll have to do better than that if you're going to outmaneuver the Blues. Speaking of which, Jeanette has turned her expert eyes to the ground.
Just a second. I like this footstool.
Ah.
I'm not sure though. Is it embroidered or a bit of old carpet on the top?
A bit of old carpet. Did I hear you right?
I love it.
A
I
bit
do
of
like
old
it.
carpet. That is a Victorian footstool embroidered with Berlin wool work, all hand embroidered, but at £48. Who wants them?
Well, I live in an old cottage, so the cats would probably sit on it in all honesty. Should we move on then?
I think we're better.
Yeah, I give in on this one then.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
A hand-embroidered Victorian footstool for your cat is just a little bit extravagant, Jeanette. Meanwhile, it seems the Reds have driven Phil to drink.
What about bottles?
Depends. I don't know much about
How do they sell?
yeah.
Tennis jars and drug jars all actually sell quite well. But I was thinking, it says here, individually priced,
Yeah.
good offers considered. I was considering making him an offer for a whole lot,
The whole lot.
every single one of them.
It's a lot of bottles.
Can we have a word with you, good sir? Now we haven't looked at anything.
Yes.
And we were kind of thinking, how much would all of them be? Without picking any of them up, what would all of them be?
200.
I was thinking a lot less. than
Yeah.
that. See, I was thinking half that.
Yeah, definitely.
What about if we took all of those out and bought the ones at the back?
Yeah, just the big ones.
Just the bigs. 120.
Oh, but again, it's very
If
expensive.
we bought them at £100 by just the ones at the back, forgetting these here.
Yes, that.
Right. Can we think about it?
Yeah.
Could you hold it for us for just for half an hour?
Yes, no
Yes,
problem.
you're an absolute gentleman. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Time is ticking, teams. You're nearly halfway through. So it's time to start making some decisions.
It's your spending your money, isn't it? You don't want to spend the money, do you?
No, that's it. Yeah, I know, I
I do not want to spend the money.
Very stingy.
Okay, you want to go low? Right.
Let's keep going.
For the Reds, it's all about the price tag. Unfortunately for the Blues, Jeanette knows exactly what she likes.
Oh my word, I love that. I love it. Look at all those
I
cats.
knew we'd find cats. I didn't think we'd find that
That
many.
is horrible.
I know, but it's fantastically horrible.
Again, we didn't
I
agree.
love
What
it.
is so cute? It's
Yeah, I
great.
think we're in that the realm of that.
I'm speechless. Jeanette, I am speechless.
What does it say on the ticket?
What does it say? The Queen and her court.
It was
Oh, I
meant
think
By
to be.
Carlos. Jeanette is being reduced
I
in
wonder why.
quantity from 85 to 55, and I'll wager it reduces an awful lot more.
Should I go and give it a go?
I will.
I'm going to try.
Hello, sir. Our lovely lady Jeanette would like a word with you.
I'm the crazy cat lady. I like that. They hate it. I need to prove them wrong. Can you please do a really, really rock bottom good deal on that for me?
No.
Oh dear. But at least they bought 2 items. Come on, Reds! Time to get back in the game.
Oh, Ben. Yes, yes, yes.
I like it.
I'm excited.
How much is your chess set, please?
You like the proper price or your price?
I'd like a low price.
The price is pretty much with the industry on that. But you want to win, you know? Always.
Yeah.
We do.
180. Like everybody else. I prefer to the bottles. I'd rather buy this for 180 than the bottle 100.
Yeah.
I'm only telling you what I think. I truthfully believe if you buy that and put it into an auction, if you have an average day at 60 to 90 pounds, if you get 2 chess fiends there, you could make 200 quid.
Yeah.
But you are really in the lap of the gods.
Without those fiends.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah. I think we go with Phil.
I think we go with Phil,
Yeah. We're going to make a loss on it.
Yeah. I think you will, but if you've seen this program before, you stated that I ain't always right.
We trust you, though, Phil. Let's keep going.
Let's go on this one.
How sweet of you to trust Mr. Searle. But I can feel a storm brewing if you don't buy another item soon. Speaking of which, I think it's my turn next. What's the weather doing today then? Well, according to this jobbing, it tells us that the weather is getting better. Now, this is a type of barometer that's extremely rare. It's called a mystery barometer because it tricks your eye. It's difficult for you to tell exactly how the mechanism that does the barometer pressure forecasting bit can possibly be within plain glazed dial like this. That is your mystery. And once upon a time, one of the rarest and certainly one of the most expensive forms of timekeepers was and still is a mystery timepiece. Because a clockmaker called Cartier designed a type of dial that was entirely made of sheets of glass. And this mystery barometer is a development of the same idea. The truth of the matter is that the barometer mechanism sits inside that trumpet base, and there are levers and cogs coming off that, which ultimately pull on this very fine steel wire that goes up to the central barrel. That central barrel will move and alter the position, depending on what the pressure's doing, on the white arm. It's got a name on it, C.P. Goertz. And Mr. Goertz established his workshop in Berlin in about 1880. And I would guess that it's probably about 1910 to 1920. So it's rare, it's in great condition, and if it could talk to me, it might tell me how it finished up on the dealer's stand around the corner. It might also tell me how that dealer got to value it at £60, because that is the price that you could buy this barometer today here in Exeter. Now, for me, the pressure is clearly rising, because in my view, in a scientific instrument sale, this rarity could bring anywhere between £600 and £900. So, rare barometer and a pretty fancy profit. Back to the shop floor, it's Phil's blood pressure that's rising. After an astonishingly speedy first purchase, he's now struggling to get the red team to put their hands in their pockets and spend some more money.
You really just want to spend little amount of money as possible?
No.
Have a look at this.
Okay.
I think that's a real fun thing, right? It's a laundry basket.
Yeah.
Okay? I think that would be great in a child's bedroom, toy box, decorated kitchen. What do you reckon?
It's a good size.
What's the very, 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 very best?
45, and you know you've got a good buy at that. Stand the chance of that. It's large. That wooden supports underneath.
Sturdy.
These are brass.
You polish up nicely. 40 quid would fit your price parameter, wouldn't it?
40 quid.
Yeah, it's
What do you think?
Yeah.
Would you be able to? Yeah? Well, good man. Yeah.
As your young people.
Oh,
Are you kidding me?
yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. We need to buy something.
I'm going to go and sit down in the dark room. I can't be doing this. I'll leave you.
Thank you. Nice.
Sure, finally. Phil may need a lie down, but at least Ben and Megan have splashed some cash, however paltry. What took them so long?
It's a funny old world. This life changes so quickly. We're a minute into this. We've got our first item board. It's cheap, fantastic, home and hosed.
But actually, I really like this corner broke. It speaks to me. It's got such character. I love it.
It's all gone downhill since then. It just
We saw a couple of things that were very expensive. We liked them, we didn't love them.
It's just all about the money. You don't want to spend any.
It seems both teams are losing their way. Just one more purchase, please. Come on, your time is nearly up.
That's different. Look at this.
I thought this was going to be Mike's choice.
Which way are we going to go?
I don't think we've been that way.
Which way? Right, come on, quick, and we'll go. I'll follow you.
Yeah, thank you.
The next door, Mike, you have to choose something.
Yeah.
If you let it.
Oh, wow. Time's running out. Come on.
Piglet.
Come on, less than 5 minutes go.
Oh,
What? Oh, look what?
I love the train.
Do you?
Do you?
Yeah, I do actually.
Do you not think?
Trains.
What do you think, Caroline?
Is that a biscuit tin?
No, it is a backward toy.
I really like that. I think
And I do
it's
as well. It's a little bit off the price. It's always 18.
15? 15 and we'll have it. 15. You happy? 16? And is it your choice?
It is my choice actually.
Well, we'll have it.
It's a good choice.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
You don't
Thank
know how happy you've made him. He's had a choice. Thank you.
Well, was it really? They've made all 3 of their buys, but for the Reds, it's still full steam ahead. With only 1 minute to go, they suddenly remembered those bottles.
Right, okay.
Sir, you wouldn't have any of these full for personal consumption, would you? With poison written on them. We think we haven't got the options because we've run out of time. Can we buy the bottles off you, please?
Indeed.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much.
Right, teams, time's up.
Let's shed some light on what the Red Team bought. Well, they certainly didn't go overboard with their first buy, a fender, bought for just £10. Next up was the laundry basket, which cost them £40. And after a mad dash, they splurged £100 on the chemist's bottles. Wow.
Right, Ben, mates. That was a very, very big spurt at the end, wasn't it? Yeah. Now, which is your favourite piece, Meg?
Oh, definitely the first thing that we bought, the rope ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you do.
Yeah.
And what about you, Bembo?
I think I agree with Meg. Yeah, the rope. I'm a little bit dubious about the bottles. I'm sorry, Phil.
Okay. So that's your favourite. Is the rope job going to bring the biggest profit?
I think so, because we spent so little on it, which was our plan originally.
Yeah.
That's where we make the most money.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you weren't going to spend much. What did you finish up by spending?
I spent 150.
Don't worry, girl. 150 pence is the proper amount. Where's 150 pence left over, Lolly?
There we go.
Lovely. Thank you very much. That goes straight over to the maestro. The maestro who can convert 150 pounds into 300 just like that, right, Phil?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to try and spend everything that they wouldn't.
Good for you. That's what I like. That's what I like, that spirit. Thank you, Philip. Why don't we go check out what the blue team bought?
Jeanette and Mike proved they were no fools paying £30 for this dumb waiter. And much to Caroline's dismay, cat lover Jeanette convinced them to buy this pottery figure for £35. Oh dear. And Mike tried to keep things on track with his choice of vintage toy train, which set him back just £16.
Well, there's a bit of disharmony in the ranks here, I would say. So there we are. We can't always agree about everything, right?
Well, it's only because they've got such bad taste.
Exactly. You tell them, Jeanette. You tell them. Now, how much did you spend?
£81.
Then I would like £219 left over lolly, please, which huge wodge.
Thank you very much.
Not at all. It's a great pleasure. So you didn't invest much. Which is your favourite piece?
Oh, the cat house.
Cat house. Do you agree with that?
I do like the cat house
Yes.
in a weird sort of way, but I like the dumb waiter.
Okay.
I mind that a lot.
And will that bring the biggest profit, do you think?
I've got a horrible feeling the cat house will bring the biggest profit.
And will the cat house bring the biggest profit?
Sadly, I don't think it will. I think it'll be our tin tray.
Dear. Okay, see what I mean? We're all over the shop. Poor Caroline. Anyway, here you are, darling. There's your compensatory package for the day, which means you can go out and buy half the fur. It's a lot of cash.
A lot of cash. I'm not going to buy anything with cats on it.
No, please don't.
Quite right, too. Nothing feline, but something that you have a feeling will bring a big profit. That's what we really
Exactly.
Anyway, very, very good stuff. Okay, relax up for a second or two because we're about to head off to the auction. Well, we crossed the county line from Devon into Somerset and come to Crewkerne to join Richard Kay. Richard, hello. Hello, Tim. Welcome back. Now, the red team have got a macabre selection of stuff. For a kick-off, they've got this fender made of rope. Do you rate that?
Skillfully made object. I think it is a wonder to behold. And I can see it being a stylish doorstop since we're in a county with a coastline. It's a great deal of work and it's in pretty good condition. It's not threadbare.
No.
It's worn.
No, it's a tour de force, really.
Yeah. What's it worth? 15, 20 pounds?
Perfect. Only pay £10. That's a very good start. We move from rope to wicker. That's a big one, isn't it?
It is a big one, and rather like the fender we just spoke about, that is also in rather nice original, what we call country house condition. It's never been restored, but it's never been damaged. It's got all its handles and all its clasps and locks in place, and it's not beginning to uncurl like some enormous pencil sharpening. So it's in rather good shape.
What's your estimate?
I think it's 20 to 30 pounds.
Okay, well, if you sell it for £20, that's half what they paid because they paid £40.
We'll hope for more.
Of course we do. Now, lastly, is this great group of chemists' medicine bottles. I mean, this is just a fraction of them.
There's every shape and size, and these are about a sixth of the whole lot.
Yes.
So they've really managed to buy quite a large quantity.
So Canning Monkey Cyril, he's done it.
He's done it very well, I think, because there's plenty of interest here. People do like old bottles, probably ideally a bit older than some of these.
Yes.
But there are some nice old labels on here.
Well, P. Cyril thought he'd done very well at £100 for the lot. Do you think he's done very well at £100?
I think that's a little more than we expect for them, but I can see them making £60.
Can you? So you've got an estimate, what, for 40
to 60?
Okay, well, okay, fair enough. Slightly depending on whether they need to fend off with it or whether they need to take some poison will determine whether they need the bonus bar or not. But let's go and have a look at it. Well, this is fun, isn't it? You spent £150, which was quite magnificent. I mean, it was medium magnificent. And £150 went to P. Cyril, and he's looking particularly impish today.
Well, I spent £150.
What?
Yeah. When every last penny went. Are you ready for this?
Okay. Ah, we've seen this.
Is that a maple frame?
He knows we've got this, maple frame chessboard. And I just think it's lovely with these little watercolours. I think it's clearly been made as a chessboard, not to hang on the wall or anything like that, but it's just, I just love it. I got it for 150 off the guy.
Whether this is the right sale for it or not, I don't know. But I think, to a couple of chess people, I think that's between 150 and 250 pounds is what I think.
I'm a fan. I love it. I love the individual pictures.
Yeah.
I think it's done well for us.
Again, if I liked it that much, we probably would have bought it, and we could have bought it.
Other people are going to buy it. That's the issue.
That's true.
Yeah.
We need 2 people to want to buy it, and if you've only got one, I'm between a rock and a hard place, and so are you.
Yeah, but you're grown up though, Philip. Okay, got that? Got the message? Anyway, think it through, because right now we're going to find out whether the auctioneer is indeed going to put Phil between a rock and a hard place. Right, and Richard, for at least half your life at Sotheby's, you were a picture specialist. What do you make of these little miniature watercolours?
Well, they're not great quality watercolours. They look like amateur sketches, probably clipped from a sketchbook and trimmed down to make this chessboard. Also, sadly, they've been in the sun a bit too long, so nearly all of them have lost most of their colour.
Okay, well, I think it's a bit unsatisfactory, I have to say. But anyway, Philip clearly loves it because he's invested a large amount of money in this. What do you think it's going to bring?
Well, I'm concerned that he's spent a lot of money on it because I think it might only be £30 to £50.
Well, you have every reason to be concerned because Philip Searle paid £150 for that. And if the team go with it, they could be in perilous territory.
Good.
Anyway, that's the excitement of the programme. That's it for the Reds. Now for the Blues. Gosh, what a group we've got here. Starting out with Danny. Hello. Do you think he's holding a plate or is he holding a menu outside a restaurant? That's what they're for, aren't they?
That's what they're for. I think that just offers a flat surface for something to be put on, whether it's a glass or whether it's a tip. Yes, or tip, exactly.
Is that the sort of thing that's going to make any money in the auction?
I don't think that's terribly well made. The proportions are all wrong, and it's not very well cut or carved or coloured. So I think it's probably only £15 to £25.
Not so far off. They only pay £30. I think it's fun enough, and as I say, not to worry. Next, we've got one of the most hideous things I've seen on Bargain Hunt for some years is this ceramic collage of pussycats. I'm feeling quite unwell looking at it. How do you feel?
Well, I share your nausea about this because I think it's got the slight decoration for a teenage girl's bedroom feel about it, and that isn't a great distinction when it comes to porcelain.
I think Janet's gone into overdrive, bless her, and I hope she does very, very well with it. But what's your estimate?
£5 to £10?
I'm with you. £35 is paid, so that is a bit of a long talk away. Mark you 2 cat fanciers, and anything could happen. And lastly, they've got the vintage Japanese toy train. Bit rusty, that
is a bit rusty. Play worn. I was going to say, if you're buying it, it's rusty. If you're selling it, it's play worn.
Exactly.
I think it's got great charm, and I think if you're going to buy an object made of tin of that sort of era, then a train with a cheerful little chap in the back of it is rather nice.
Good. Okay. How much?
Well, I think that could make £20 or £30.
Do you really? You are amazing, Richard. £16 paid.
I think that's pretty good.
That could claw back some of the losses on the little pussies, couldn't it?
I hope it will. Whether it will quite claw back it all, I don't know.
No. Anyway, moving on. Let's have a look at the pence pile. Well, I can't believe this. £219 of leftover lolly went to Caroline. I mean, it's unbelievable, this. Caroline, what did you spend it on?
Well, I spent it on this.
Oh, no, that's a bit posh.
Yeah, it's posh, isn't it? It's a bit posh for us.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Now be careful because the inkwell might just slip off.
You know, you're giving it away now. I was about to ask what it is, but that's very
Yeah, very nice.
I think I'm going to have this to make.
I'll tell you what, I'll take it. Well, there we go. Everybody's then relaxed.
So, who would have made this, and how old is it?
It's typically Victorian. It's not the finest quality. The finest quality of this would have been inlaid. But this is beautifully painted with fuchsia. It's a pretty object, and I think that would still look nice.
And how much did you pay for it? The number one question.
Well, £130.
Oh, okay.
Well, I feel like not as much as I did, but
right,
it's
yeah.
130.
Do you think it might make?
I think it'll wash its face, but it depends who's here.
I've only got 2 here that like it, so
No,
You two are.
Yeah,
Well, I like it, that's three.
Well, on a happy note, let's find out what the auctioneer thinks about the Encrier. Well, Richard, that's a shocker, isn't it?
Not too bad.
You clearly don't like it that much. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I don't share your distaste.
Okay. So what are its pluses for you then?
Well, its pluses are that it's pretty much complete, but the overall furnishing appeal of the item, if that's what you're looking for, isn't bad.
Okay, fine. I suppose it's all down to the price point, isn't it, really?
Well, I think £40 to £60.
I rest my case. £130 is paid.
That is a concern, because I don't think we're going to get even halfway there.
Well, there we go. So we have a problem with the bonus buy with regard to the chessboard, and we have a problem with the bonus buy with regard to the encrier. So let's just hope that the teams today don't go with the bonus buy. Otherwise, we're going to be in deep storm.
Happy? Yeah. I mean, this is fun, isn't it? Great big space, and this is their weekly sale. Everybody here will be here to buy bottles. Bottles, mainly, yes, like chemist bottles. Great. Now, first up then is the ship's fender, and here it comes.
Lot 444 is a rope knot ship's fender, and I have £10 bid on this. £10 is bid. £10 bid. An absentee bid at 10. I'll sell at 10. Are we done? £10 then? I'm selling at £10.
£10. It's wiped its face. No profit, no loss, no pain, no shame. Here's the laundry basket.
Who'll say £10 for that? £10 for it? 10 is bid. 12 now. 15, 18, 20. £20 if the ladies bid at 20. 25, 30, 35, 40. £40 now. Still to my right in the room at 40, selling this one at £40. 41, 40.
£40, it's wiped its face. We have two white faces. Now, this has to do better. Come on.
A lot of them there, and bids here start me at 50, 55 is bid, £55 is bid, 60 now, 65.
Take people on that, then, the Labour Party. And I spent more time at university than they have.
Have you always been as confident as you are and known what you wanted to do with your life? Or
No, I don't know now what I want to do. I haven't got many years left, and I really don't know what to do with them. I wait for opportunities. I don't like contentment. I've never wanted contentment. I like risk. I like danger. I get hundreds of letters from people because I wrote some books, and they were about sadness and bereavement and grief and things. So people write to me because they feel that they can tell me their story. And I find that so many of them,
because you lost your husband, John Thor, yes.
But I find that they haven't lived. Do you know what I mean? And I say, take a risk. Go and sit on a park bench and talk to somebody. The worst they can do is say, go away. Go to the Leicester Town Hall and find out about evening classes. You have to take a brick and change your life.
when I grow up, I want to be like Sheila.
But no, you're seeing one side of me. When I go home, I'll be sitting in a terrible heat.
But after you lost John, how long does it take you to get to that point?
Oh, a long time. A long time. I wrote a book called Me about living on my own. I decided that I had two choices. I had either the choice to spend the rest of my life grieving. And remember, I've been through it before. I'd lost another husband years ago. And, or I was lucky enough to still have a life. And John was younger than me when he died, much younger than me. And I thought, no, I can't waste it. I have to pull myself together. And like as I am, years and years later, but they can't talk about it to anybody near them because you're supposed to be over it. Oh, come on, pull yourself together, move on, move on. And they write reams of letters to somebody that they don't really know, they don't know, but they just have to get it off their chest.
How do you get it off your chest then? Who do you write to? To
I cry a lot. I cry a lot. I'm romantic. Yes, I cry a lot. I believe in crying. I think crying is good for you. I listen to classical music and I weep. You know, but no, it's not that.
It's not relief. It's not sound like I had the wrong because
I think that's a bit because I'm a great believer in crying. I wish I cried more.
I cry
it's a release.
I cry when I'm happy. I had a father who always cried when he was happy. I remember his very first night in the West End. He came and I was in a thing called Rattle a Simple Man. And it was quite a success. And he went up to the man who put the show on and said,
My daughter. You're lucky driver.
Weeping.
Was that out of weep? Cheesy, but I'm weeping now because unfortunately we're out of time. Sheila, thank you very much. Sheila, oh God. And Edie is out on Take to Me, which is of course tomorrow. After the break, find out what happened when Nadia and Stacey took a whistle-stop tour of Tinseltown to catch up with superstar Jane Fonda. You won't want to miss that.
With 2 for £75 on selected Boots glasses, we'll help you find your perfect pair. Boots Opticians, let's feel good. The summer event is now on at Dorothy Perkins and Baton, with up to 30% off the latest summer fashion. Shop now, in-store and online with up to 30% off at Dorothy Perkins and Baton.
Fibre. Who cares about it? Not the fast internet, the other one. That fibre. Look at it. Frankly, no one gives a hoot. I love fibre, says no one, ever. No wonder most of us aren't getting enough. But we all need some of the good stuff. That's why we've made a tasty yoghurt where it goes unnoticed. A bit like this guy. New Arla Fibre for people who can't be fussed with fibre.
It's just bread. Just the thing that gets pushed in a bin, pulled and misshapen from a freezer, and forgotten for a moment. Just the thing that's given her her first taste of independence, and her second, and her third. It's just bread. Just the thing that got you out of bed, and got you through the night. It's just bread, just always there, and always good. From the first slice to the last, it's just 5 letters. Hovis.
A chocolate of chocolate, please. It's for my mum.
Sarah, can you come and get rid of this ASOS stuff in the study?
Your change.
There's a glass and a half in everyone.
Well, I wear my clothes like this, big as I can. And I wear my hair like this, big as I can. And I walk around like this, big as I can. And I do my thing like this, this is who I am.
Get great savings on spring collection sofas at DFS. Until Tuesday, you can get the Trilogy Corner at an early bird extra price of just $829. DFS. Here's an ultra big offer for our existing and new Sky customers with this latest 43-inch LG TV. You can watch the widest range of Ultra HD entertainment, and you get the full Sky Q experience for just £32 a month. Only with Sky Q. So existing and new Sky customers can get an Ultra HD LG TV, now better than half price, with the full Sky Q experience. Hurry, offer ends May 31st. Search Sky Q.
Is this yours? Is this yours?
The world's most majestic creatures.
You just told me to say is this yours, so I'm saying
Like a
it.
rock. Chesterton.
Do you want to see it or shall I bin it? Because I'm standing here like a fucking moron. Do you want to see? Is this yours? This sock of yours. I don't need sex. You need to come out and look anyway, don't you?
An unmissable week of Coronation Street. Every night, next week at 9 on ITV.
Do you want to go into the bloody ingredients of what it's made from as well before you come out?
We're back. Thanks for joining us. Still to come on Loose Women today. She's no stranger to a lively lunchtime audience. Mel Gidroy.
We really do hate speaking to me so much. So don't leave things on the floor when you take them out of the dryer.
You only need to put the kettle on for a blooming great tea party.
I'm not going to do it anymore. Anything on the floor is counted as rubbish from now on.
No, it's set to be the rom-com movie of the summer with a fabulous all-star cast. Let's find out what happened when Stacey and Nadia flew off to Hollywood to catch up with the ladies from the book club. Jane Fonda, Diane Keaton, Candice Bergen, and Mary Steenburgen.
I would like to introduce you to Christian Grey. Oh, no. We started this book club to stimulate our minds. From what I hear, this book is quite stimulating.
Oh, what's that? That's not mine. I've never seen that book before, honestly.
This is nasty.
Oh my goodness, Stacey and I had such a great time. We literally laughed the whole way through.
We did.
I couldn't stop talking about.
Well, why not? We're loose women.
We were quite overwhelmed actually by how much it. Stacey says a lot on our show at home. That she's 28. She's very underset.
Well,
She worries about.
I was watching the show, and I know that you, Jane, said that you didn't want to intimidate women, like older women, by making this movie because, you know, they might not have as much sex as what is spoken about in the movie. And I thought, I'm kind of intimidated by this movie. I'm not having this much sex. Like, do you, I mean, is there hope for me as I get older?
Of course, that's what this movie is about. There's hope for all of us.
So you're all still really happy in your sex life, and I've got lots to look forward to.
It's important to say, for our audience of a certain age, that there's no reason you have to have sex.
Yeah, we like that.
It should be a choice. If you decide to close up shop down there at a certain point, that's fine too.
But one of the quotes that I really loved actually was yours, Candice, and you said something like, if God wanted us to be having sex, he wouldn't do this to our body at this stage. We're really big on our show about body confidence. And certainly for me going through my menopause now, I just feel less and less confident because of my body and sex. What would you say to women?
A lot of candles.
Hi, baby
Red fabric to drape over lamps.
Is she? Right. But you said actually that was part of what you liked about the character, that you felt she was very insecure, like you feel yourself. That's it.
Yeah, I don't work here. I just feel I'm removed.
Really? But you are so phenomenal. I mean, you are aspirational.
Now, next
Oh, have a sip, sweetie.
I just don't care. It's not that I have body confidence. It's that I just don't care enough to do anything about it.
Yeah, that's how I'm.
And I have a husband who, shockingly enough, doesn't see me as being overweight or out of shape. He just, forget it. I mean, you're gorgeous. Let's not start. Okay.
I love the way you're pausing.
I think the only person that should answer this question. I'm just Diana.
No way. I just, do you know what, I find that really hard to even comprehend, but actually it's also very comforting because, you know, we look up to people like you and you think you must have no problems with insecurities, and when people are honest and say they do, it's actually like, okay, we're all in the same boat. And
well, we are.
Yeah.
And what is lovely is if you do have a posse, if you have women friends that you can turn to when you're feeling that way, and you can talk about these things as these women do, tell each other hard truths, and have that grounding presence that other women give you. That's a pretty wonderful thing to get through that.
I slept with Arthur.
Oh, there's a shocker.
No, not sex. I actually fell asleep with him.
Wait a minute, you've never been able to sleep with a man before?
I know.
So, I mean, you didn't have sex?
We slept on a couch and he tickled my arm.
Oh boy, now this is a disaster. When is he leaving?
Not soon enough. I got a brain freeze. Oh, here, give that to a professional. Oh my God.
There are many movies, I mean, especially with women of a certain age or men of a certain age, where you get to see sexual themes, or they even talk about having sex. And I just think, why is that? Obviously, you don't just stop having sex at a certain age, but why do you think that it's not highlighted in films as much?
And you've got how big are the screens? They're huge, right?
Yeah.
So the faces are enormous. And you don't particularly enjoy watching wrinkled lips kissing each other.
So why?
I don't.
I enjoy it.
And I've got slags under the arm, waving back and forth.
I love Diane's face.
Oh, she's going there, yeah.
She's gone there.
You know, I really enjoyed kissing Don Johnson.
Yeah, we all know.
Because one of the interviews asked me, you know, what was it like? And I said it was a lot of fun, but I'm also worried about if we moved around too much.
Yeah.
You know, then this part of my face would hang down and this ankle would show. You don't think about that when you're young, but it's hard when you're older. That said, I think we all look really good.
You look phenomenal. That's what I loved about this movie, is it didn't care about what, there was no
It cared a lot. It's just the lighting was
You need to take zip ties. Are you thinking about tying me up? Nothing, it's just something I was reading about.
In the film, the relationship that you were in was fine. How do you keep a relationship alive?
He's been married for 25 years to Mr. Handsome.
I know. Well, I'm married to Ted Danson. He's very easy to take me everywhere. It's very easy. Does that mean something dirty?
That's fine.
Okay, make it that whatever it means in England. I meant he's like really easy to spend my life with, you know. So I don't know how to answer with a difficult person, but with him, it's
Any
quite
secrets? Any little tips? What can you ask you?
just married to Danson.
Shazzy.
And of course, many thanks to Nadia and Stacey for taking the time to go to Los Angeles. Many that time for speaking to Jane Fonda.
And it was Paramount Pictures flew us out there. We went, we were in the loos, weren't we, getting all the stuff, we were trying everything. We got to Four Seasons Hotel in Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
You imagine it was out as well. All the flowers.
Yeah, Jane and I are very happy for you.
Yeah.
Into the hotel, right, and the flowers were all like pink and beautiful, and this massive flower display. We walked back down again an hour later, and the whole flower display had changed.
What was the room like?
Oh my God, the room. We couldn't believe it. In fact, there's a film of us, I think, of us. Look. We were literally like the country bumpkins, weren't we? In this, just going around outside the hotel. Well, it really was. And we took everything we could, like every bath soap, every shower, the pool was so amazing. But what was really fascinating was seeing how that we hear it a lot that in Beverly Hills, they are their royalty and they are treated exactly the same as royalty, aren't they?
Incredible. There were, when we did the interview, there were, I don't know, so many people, maybe 30, 40 people in the room, making sure
you didn't make it.
Well, Jason used to say, oh, you see, we've got a royal family. It's a bit like and so they go, well, you know, it's different movie stars. Some movie stars you can, other movie stars. We were like, oh, really? And then, yeah, it was just, and we felt a bit like movie stars ourselves.
because they actually lit the room, which like they used special lights to light the room for like 5 hours. So me and Nadia took about 1,000 photos of ourselves in the lighting.
And it was great because all the women were fabulous, and they came in, and there was a little bit of waiting while they tweaked stuff, and then Don Johnson and Andy Garcia came in, and they were like
lovely people,
yeah, and they were like chatting, and they were like whispering, and it was the only time Stacey and I were quiet. But yeah, it was a once in a lifetime.
So you had a terrible time.
It was awful. Yeah. So beautiful.
I'll tell you what, that's great. I'm glad I had another time getting to the back of the queue. The next thing you're doing is dry stone walling in Orkney. Pop the kettle on. Mel Gidroyd will be joining us for tea party.
Maybe
oh, she's very enigmatic as Mel. We'll see you in a minute.
makes a tea party a blooming great tea party. A good fact, half full of gossip. Hold your very own blooming great tea party for Marie Curie nurses.
People should have a tea party for Marie Curie because they're such a wonderful charity.
And I've got experience because they looked up my sister. Call 0800 810 0212 or search Marie Curie online now to sign up and get your free tea party kit and raise funds this June to help more people with any terminal illness. We're counting on your cover.
Being the nation's favourite something is an honour to wear with pride. Jim makes the nation's favourite sausage, but keeps it all inside. There'll be no sausage in India which you'll never see. No great big sausage statue that will never be. He's busy making sausages and beaming with a grin because he makes the nation's favourite. And that's enough for him. Richmond, proud to be the nation's favourite. And now, chicken sausages, hail from the makers of the nation's favourite.
GFS Spring Collection sofas are now up to half price. And they're handmade to order in your choice of colour. Like the Ernie, now £399. And everything's available with 4 years interest-free credit. Find your happy colour at DFS.
Start your summer the right way. This is Highland Reggae. 60s Sunday classics, including the legendary Bob Marley. Highland Reggae, the perfect summer album.
You know, just thinking, scratch cards are a bit like blind date. You reckon? Yeah. Let's watch Harry play one. Oh, he's nice, isn't he? Ooh, lovely teeth. Ooh, nice smile there. She's keen as mustard. Look at that. Oh, lovely shoes. All the things she likes. Hold on, what's that? A big red button? What is it? Oh, she's confused. I'm confused too. She's gonna go for it. It's a fog on! Haha! She loves fog on. Beautiful combo. Teeth, shoes, fog on. Nice scratching.
Feel wistful away from one of the world's most majestic creatures. Introducing new Tiger Rock at Chessington.
Be ready for the summer season. I love all the little kind of flowers. The colours are lovely. I love the shape, real detail.
Shop all of these looks at fairland.co.uk.
It starts with a steak, a sprinkling of crispy onions for a sizzling sandwich that'll impress Dad. It starts with Asda and Aberdeen Angus steak, no, just $4.49.
Nonna like Greek style. High protein. Big. Nonna-licious. And fat-free. Fat-free! And no added sugar. No added sugar! Nonna like Greek style. Nonna, official yogurt of British athletics.
When it comes to courage, for the rock this shines brilliant. When Johnson talks to Lorraine about going the action hero is taking his latest role to new heights in summer blockbuster Skyscraper.
Very cool.
And he's here to tell Lorraine.
Again, now give Rachel for joining us to reveal why she's dreading her 50th birthday next month, or it's not for the reason you might think. No, if you fancy being £80,000 richer, we'll check out our competition. Peter Andre has the details on how you could win that big cash prize.
We can make you feel good by winning big with ITV. So we're giving you the chance to win £80,000 in tax-free cash. With this prize, you'll have no worries about breaking the budget this summer, and every single penny could be yours as it's totally tax-free. This could be you. If you don't believe it, then listen to some of our previous winners.
I thought this was a wind-up. I couldn't believe it. I could have popped. When I got the phone call, I was just in a state of shock, and I couldn't believe that a person like me could have won. And it was just amazing.
This £80,000 cash prize could be all yours
For your chance to win, just text cash to 86060. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Go to the website, entries cost £2. Call 09068 786060. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to DY21, PO Box 7558, Derby, DE10NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 3 p.m. on Friday, the 8th of June. Good luck.
Now, our final guest today should feel right at home because 20 years ago, she hosted her own raucous lunchtime chat show. She even got Davina McCall to flash her tats. Ooh! So tats.
What? Oh my God. And no, the train's all late. They can't go down there yet. And what about the others? Well, I've got an alien on my bottom, right? And some chili peppers on my shoulder. Yes. No, because I've got my special teddy bear pants on, and I really hope to show you those. My special teddy bear pants. Go on, Adele. Those are my teddy bear pants.
Well, that's good sorted out. Just as you fit right in. Please welcome Mel Gidrow. Yeah. I wondered where you were going to go with Davina there.
Oh, I'm sorry, gang. I was chatting backstage.
We were talking about
Tommy's. Don't worry, we're not talking about that.
This is all for you because you're in tea party mode, aren't you?
It's the big time of year, gang. It's the Marie Curie Blooming Great Tea Party, which you know about, Stacey, because you're involved with Marie Curie.
Yeah.
And every June, you just basically host a tea party, big or small. It can be for 2 people or 200. There's a lady that does it for 300 with a spray tan booth. Oh, I turn to you at that point. So dry.
And cakes, that was all enough of it.
Spray tan and cakes. So good.
And they are the incredible charity, aren't they?
They are extraordinary.
So, thank you. So, what then, how do they make the money? You buy the cake?
So basically, if you want to host a tea party, you send off for the old pack,
Yeah.
get all the info, get your mates round, have a little donation box, everyone puts something in, loads of people bring cakes. I bought something for you guys.
I'm distracted.
Oh,
you love that, don't you?
Love
You love it, yeah.
This, I want you
You
to
didn't
smell
bake it
it.
yourself, though, did you? Come on. Come on.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
You're rubbish at your baking,
I
aren't
know,
you?
I'm a bit rubbish.
Are you? Yes. After all the years of being around cakes.
7 years, Stacey.
You forgot so quickly.
I know.
So I take it that means you won't be making your birthday cake. Your great big birthday.
No, I hope someone else likes
When's it coming up?
Couple of weeks, Kate.
Couple of weeks, fine. What a big party for you. It's your fifth year.
Yeah.
You don't look it. Are you planning a big party?
I'm going to go wild. I want to be in my underwear dancing at dawn.
I believe you're a little bit nervous because Sue has got a bit of previous in terms of birthday surprises, hasn't she?
Well, I booked her what I thought was going to be a hilarious Gorillagram prank for her 30th. And I said to HQ, Gorillagram HQ, I said, look, just the gorilla. I'd like you to come in, kind of throw her around a bit, do a poem, and then go. And the guy came in, stripped down to a very unappealing thong.
Oh no!
Did some rather unsavory business with her on the floor.
Come on, then, can you go?
Elsa said, well, let us just see her for a split second. We went, nah. I'm really scared. That was brilliant. Took me back.
He's not going to strip, is he? He's not going to.
Do you know what? It's heading into me again.
I'll never forget the guy, the gorilla was called Tony.
Didn't see your
It really is. Is that Tony? I had to literally almost pull him off her. And so, Tony, I'd like you to go home now. I got really sort of Margot led. It was awful.
Do you think she's going to get you back?
It'll be worse, Stacey.
Oh no!
Very worse. Well, I can't think what is worse.
Yeah, I think that.
Again, what do you think?
I had that
on my 21st.
Did you?
We had Tarzanogram.
Oh!
Did he strip? Well, this wee guy turned up, and he was a rather puny guy. I'm not being insulting. And there was that moment where he was supposed to sweep me up in his arms, but he took one look at me and thought, I'm not going to make that. So I swept him up in my arms. There's a picture of me holding this guy in a loincloth, and he's clearly worried about, you know, these undercarriage coming out, so he's holding himself. My friend said it to me for my 30th, and I saw out the corner of my eye, I saw this guy, no, just a guy, but with a rose in his teeth, and I knew, and I got up, and I went out through the restaurant kitchens, and I didn't come back.
So that's good. If somebody arrives at my party with a rose.
With a rose in their teeth, sure as hell. I didn't even know this was a thing.
It's so 80s, I suppose. It's my 80s. It is a bit 80s.
So listen, the big party, we have to ask.
No, to be honest, I'm pretty untogether about this kind of thing. I thought, oh, shall I do it? Shall I do it? Oh, I was a bit too worried. So I only got the invites out last week, all the week before. So probably after you. We'll see. But everyone's invited.
Yeah, but you are very clear that you're going to embrace your 50s.
Totally.
Muffin tops, jowls, everything. My theory on this is because you haven't got them yet. Because I said that at 49. And now I'm looking into every procedure. But it's a good way to go into it.
I'd like to get my teeth done. I'm not going to lie. I'd like to get the old 70s gnashers.
Oh, but they're you. They're perfect.
Yeah, that one's dying. That one's dying, and those are goofing.
I did it just about that time. It is the best thing I ever did. I would highly recommend it. I would, absolutely.
I'm now totally focused on your teeth. Does it hurt, though?
Very, very painful. But it's worth it.
I'm going to try and get it done before the Marie Curie big teeth ones.
Well, look after your teeth, not too much sugar. Listen, unfortunately, we are out of time. Best of luck. I know.
Start about my anecdotes, guys.
Everyone. For today, tomorrow, John Barrowman is going to be joining the panel for this next special. My goodness. We have got a big surprise for EastEnders, Barry, Sean Williamson, so we will see you then. Do join us tomorrow at 12:30.
More live action as we follow the men and women on the front line of the NHS. A&E Live is for you call between tonight at 11. Let's go with the ICU lunchtime news.
Coming up, murdered in a petty feud by petrol bomb. The four brothers and sisters, the youngest aged just 3. A new warning that big tax rises are needed in order to help the NHS cope. And what is behind the huge growth in dog thefts? Find out after the break.
To find out more or apply for your loan, visit 118118money.com. 118 Keep written running.
Fancy a treat? Why not try Lidl's huge selection of drinks? a bottle of Comte de Senegal champagne for only $10.99. Or even Gecko IPA for only $1.19 a bottle. And a 4-pack of delicious scrumpy premium cider for only $2.69. Over us? Perfect. Lidl, big on quality, Lidl on price.
When you live with dry skin or eczema, it can feel as though the naturally healthy skin you want is out of reach. But with a daily skincare routine and Cetraben, you're in control. Moisturizing, rehydrating, and effective, even for problematic dry or eczema-prone skin. Cetraben. Get closer to healthy skin every day.
Hallelujah, come on, get happy. Let all your cares away. Hallelujah, come on, get happy. With the spring collection now up to half price and handmade to your order, you can find your happy colour at DFX.
And your windows, doors and conservatories are all crafted around you and your home. It's where life happens. We've been improving homes for the past 50 years with a 10-year guarantee and free installation. Buy now and get up to 40% plus up to £3,000 off your windows and doors when we recycle your old ones. Make your house an Andean home. Call 0800 500 600 or visit us online today.
Here's an ultra big offer for our existing and new Sky customers. With this latest 43-inch LG TV, you can watch the widest range of Ultra HD entertainment when you get the full Sky Q experience for just £32 a month. Only with Sky Q. So existing and new Sky customers can get an Ultra HD LG TV, now better than half price, with the full Sky Q experience. Hurry, offer ends May 31st. Search Sky Q.
This year, Gopi has built her own business with her own two hands. Each unique piece comes to life in the same way. A messy, sloppy, splattery way. But at least with QuickBooks, she's found a way to keep her receipts tidy. Snap, sort, and store tax-deductible receipts on the go with QuickBooks. Smarter business tools for the world's hardest workers. Now with up to 50% off your first 6 months. QuickBooks. Backing you.
Muller like Greek style. High in protein. Egg. Mullerlicious. And fat-free. Fat-free! And no added sugar. No added sugar! Muller like Greek style. Muller, official yogurt of British athletics.
Now, all the latest national and international ITV news this lunchtime.
Two guilty of the petrol bomb murder in Manchester of 4 young brothers and sisters. Demi Pearson was 15, Brandon 8, Lacey 7, and Leah just 3. David Worrell and Zach Bolland in their 20s set fire to their home and blocked the only escape route. Also this lunchtime, a big cash call for the NHS to avoid a decade of misery. It would mean higher taxes. Ireland's crucial vote on abortion, thousands fly in to have their say tomorrow. And the growth in dog theft, prompted by fashion, fame, and high prices.
This is the ITV Lunchtime News with Alistair Stewart.
Good afternoon. In the last hour, 2 men in their 20s have been found guilty of the murder of 4 young siblings aged between 15 and just 3 in Greater Manchester last year. David Worrell, aged 25, broke down in tears as the verdicts were read out in court. 23-year-old Zach Bolland blinked and looked down at the floor. They firebombed the family home, one at the front to set the house ablaze, and another to block the only exit. A woman, Courtney Brearley, 20, was found guilty on 4 counts of manslaughter over the deaths of the children, Demi, Brandon, Lacey and Leah Pearson. All died as they slept in their beds. Not the failure reports.
When firefighters arrived at the house in Walkden, it was engulfed in flames. Inside were 4 young siblings. Denny, Brandon and Lacey perished in the fire as they slept. 3-year-old Leah died 2 days later in hospital. Their mother, Michelle Pearson, was rescued, but so badly injured she was placed in a coma for 4 months. After 3 days of deliberation, the jury at Manchester Crown Court found Zach
He's
Boland
nice,
and
look at
David
him.
Worrell guilty of murder, and Boland's girlfriend, Courtney Brierley, guilty of manslaughter. The court heard the arson attack followed a tit-for-tat feud between Boland and Michelle Pearson's brother. CCTV from the night shows Boland, Worrell and Brierley removing a garden fence and throwing petrol bombs inside the house before fleeing. Earlier that night, the 3 were seen buying alcohol and then filling a jerry can with petrol. The family are still overcome by their loss.
You look at the pictures of these children and think their right to life has been snuffed out. What they could have achieved with their lives. And it has affected everyone. Yeah, because we won't see them get married. We won't see them get children. I picture this everyone of you think, you're gone. You get to go back.
4 young lives gone. What had been described as a nice and happy family, destroyed by a bitter feud. Martha Fairley, ITV News.
Our correspondent Ben Chapman was in court when those verdicts
Hang
were
on, I'll get you yours.
There was reaction from families and supporters. Well, there were gasps and whispers of yes, very subdued, very respectful, but nevertheless a rushing out of emotion, really, from the family and the friends of the Pearson family. Many of them were in tears in the public gallery as those 2 sets of 4 guilty verdicts were read out, one for each of the children who died in this fire. But there was one notable absence in the public gallery, and that was the mother, Michelle, who survived the fire that night, but we were told after the verdicts had been read out, is still gravely ill in hospital with the burns she suffered. She's still struggling to get out of bed, struggling to have a conversation, and remains in grave danger if she develops an infection. We're told she only found out her children had died in the fire just a few weeks ago. Sentencing will take place this afternoon. Both Boland and Worrell have been told to expect substantial minimum terms. One of their barristers themselves described it as a truly terrible act resulting in a shocking loss of life. Ben, thank you. Now, with programmes aplenty celebrating the achievements of the NHS, which reaches its 70th anniversary next month, 2 respected think tanks delivered a blast of cold reality today. They say the health service needs an average annual rise of 4% in funding every year for the next 15 years, and that works out at about £2,000 per household across the country, which will almost certainly mean higher taxes. Our political correspondent Lily Wiener reports.
For much of its existence, the NHS has been the envy of the world. But this year, in dozens of hospitals, operations were cancelled and patients turned away. It's a situation that can only be remedied with more money, according to the authors of today's report, who suggest taxes will have to go up.
One of the remarkable things in the past is that we've paid more and more for the NHS without having to raise taxes, and that's because we've essentially stopped spending much money on defence or housing or debt interest. Going forward, very hard to see that there's much left to cut, particularly over the last several years. So if we are going to spend on the NHS, the only way really is to increase taxes.
By 2034, there'll be almost 4.5 million more people in the UK aged 65 or over. The report says NHS spending will need to rise by 3.3% over the next 15 years to cope with the extra demand, or by 4% to modernise and improve services. That could amount to an extra £2,000 in tax per household. During last year's election, the Prime Minister famously dismissed calls for a pay rise for nurses, saying there was no magic money tree. But by March this year, she appeared to have had a change of heart, telling MPs that she was looking at a long-term funding increase.
I do want to come forward with a long-term plan. I want that to be done in conjunction with leaders of the NHS, with clinicians and health experts, and the government will provide a multi-year funding settlement.
One former health minister says he's sceptical any new funding will be generous enough to stop services deteriorating.
Every indication is that the government will come up with less than they are saying will be needed. And if they do come up with less, it won't be enough for the NHS. And it consigns this country to a second-rate service. That's the political reality that we have to face.
Reports that the government is set to match the promises made by Leave campaigners during the EU referendum were dismissed by Number 10 today as speculation. The pressure is growing to ensure the NHS remains a world leader 70 years on. Libby Vina, ITV News, Westminster.
A couple have been found guilty of murdering their French nanny after a bizarre obsession with an ex-boyzone pop star. Sophie Dionnet suffered weeks of torture because Sabrina Coudet and Hussein Medini built a warped fantasy around Coudet's ex-boyfriend, the singer Mark Walton. Chris Jackson reports.
Sophie Dionnet came to South London a trusting, naive and vulnerable young girl. But it was while working at this house as a nanny that kind nature would be exploited. Beaten, starved and then killed by her employers, her child remains were discovered by firefighters in the back garden. Today, Sabrina Coudet and Hussein Medini were convicted of her murder.
Both Sam Medini and Sabrina Coudet have robbed Sophie Dionnet, who's only 21, of a promising life, and took her from her family and friends, who will never again get to see her beloved daughter, sister, and friend. Sophie was systematically abused, humiliated and tortured, but we will never know the full extent of the horrors Sophie had to endure, as not all the interrogations were recorded.
The court heard how the pair subjected the nanny to months of mistreatment, threats and physical abuse that left her broken and a virtual prisoner. The jury heard how Coudet was obsessed with her ex-partner Mark Walton, a co-founder of the Irish band Boyzone, and here on a reality TV programme. She accused Sophie of working with him to frame the couple of criminal behaviour. The jury was shown CCTV of the couple going about their normal routine on the day Sophie died, including a visit to the supermarket for snacks. Those who knew Sophie say they noticed a change in her leading up to her death.
Oh, baby! There was tears in her eyes.
Oh, it smells, doesn't
So
it?
then I started to talk to her, but still very hard to get anything out from her. She was very late that doesn't want to say anything apart from yes, no.
Sophie's parents left court without making comment, but no words can express the loss they feel for their daughter. Chris Jepson, ITV News.
Government's launching a new plan to try and stop prisoners reoffending and to claw back some of the £15 billion that reoffending costs every year. Central to the policy is boosting the skills of inmates, try and get them into jobs as soon as they're released. But with no extra money for the scheme, some are questioning whether it can actually work. Juliet Bremner reports.
Not the kind of calm, quiet workspace you expect to find inside a prison. But this is a print workshop in a Category C jail. The kind of training the government would like to see offered to every prisoner. At Onley Prison in Warwickshire, there's a range of training partnerships with companies like Rico, Halfords, Premier Inn and Pret a Manger. But Charles McIntosh still fears he's going to struggle to find a job.
I think it'd be the obvious one. I'm a convicted felon. Regain my place in society, and that always goes against me.
So you expect when you're doing interviews that people will naturally be biased against you?
Well, it's hardly a reference, is it? The answer is yes.
The figures back him. Reoffending costs taxpayers £15 billion a year. 60% of businesses will not employ ex-offenders, and only 17% of prisoners are in work a year after their release. Justice Secretary David Court, today at a London prison, isn't offering any more money. Instead, he wants more prisoners let out on temporary licence to train in the community.
think there's been a nervousness about making use of these workplace temporary licences. I think that we need to encourage that. We need to support governors to use their discretion and be prepared to get people out there. It's not so much about money, it's about the attitude.
The aspiration or the slogan for this campaign is that every prisoner should have the opportunity to get a job. It's feasible maybe in a place like Onley, but is it realistic in the higher category prisons like Belmarsh and Frankfurt? At HMP Onley, the governor feels attitudes amongst businesses are starting to change. Not everybody wants to employ ex-criminals.
No, but I've been on civil service quite a lot of years. I feel that that's improving over the last sort of 3, 4, 5 years. There are more and more employers that are interested in being part of the wider community and helping people get their life back on track.
At the moment, only 87 companies are signed up to these prison partnerships. A shift in society's attitude to ex-offenders is what's really needed to bring about change. Juliet Bremner, ITV News.
Still to come.
Tied up your arm and cross something, please. Here we go.
It's led by a rise in celebrity status. But first, there is one final surge of campaigning in the Irish abortion referendum this lunchtime. The Republic goes to the polls tomorrow in a vote that could change the way the country sees itself, with the result expected on Saturday. Well, our social affairs editor, Penny Marshall, is there for us live in Dublin. Last shouts in this crucial campaign, Penny. What have they been saying this morning?
Well, they've been saying really get out and vote tomorrow and rehearsing the final arguments, because in about 20 minutes from now, a broadcasting ban is in place which lasts until 10 p.m. tomorrow. So we heard the Yes campaign say, look, this is the time for women's equality, this is the time for change, and we heard the No campaign saying, don't allow this to go through because what you're voting for is abortion on demand, effectively. This referendum has split Ireland.
The single biggest predictor as to whether you are a yes or a no voter is on age grounds. So in a sense, you see this more traditional Ireland, this more conservative Ireland, this more religious Ireland, speaking in broad terms, and you see a younger, more modern, more secular country. And those two countries are in conflict in a way in this referendum.
Fascinating. As you talked about much of that on News at 10 last night, and you also told us that folk were flying back to take a part in that crucial decision. In these last few hours, is that still going on?
It is, because this is really going to come down to turnout. It's very, very close. And the Yes campaign is hoping that they have the momentum because the young people feel so strongly about it. And they've appealed to lots of the expatriates who live abroad who are young, largely, to come home. So we're expecting hundreds, if not thousands, of people wearing those little T-shirts to flock into Dublin and try and get it over the line from their point of view. But it is really, really close, and nobody should predict the outcome.
Penny, thank you. Here, an army sergeant has been found guilty of attempting to murder his wife by tampering with her parachute before a skydive. 38-year-old Emil Siliers of the Royal Army Physical Training Corps was convicted after a retrial at Winchester Crown Court. His wife, Victoria Siliers, suffered near-fatal injuries when both her main and reserve parachutes failed in a dump in Wiltshire 2 years ago. North Korea says that it's blown up a nuclear test site witnessed by foreign journalists. A series of explosions demolished a number of underground tunnels and local buildings. Kim Jong-un had promised to close the site ahead of planned talks with Donald Trump next month. And an international team of investigators say that a missile that shot down flight MH17 over the Ukraine did belong to Russia. Almost 300 passengers and crew died when the Boeing 777 came down in 2014. Russia has always denied any involvement. Now, all this week we're celebrating the NHS ahead of its 70th anniversary, and today we're looking at the remarkable advance in organ transplants. The first successful transplant in the UK was a kidney transplant more than 50 years ago in 1965. 6 years later, the first organ donor cards were introduced, but only covered kidneys. Today, donor cards cover a whole range of organs, but there's an enormous shortage of people on the register. Last year, 470 people died whilst waiting on the transplant list, or within a year of being removed from it. And right now, there are nearly 6,000 people around the UK waiting for an organ donation. Well, I'm joined now by Carol Jordan, on the left of your picture there, whose daughter donated her organs. In the middle is Jess Harris, who's waiting for a kidney and pancreas transplant. On the ground, 470 deaths, because, as it were, you're not doing quite well enough.
Absolutely. So we're achieving year on year. So last year was a remarkable year, the highest number of donors and the highest number of transplants. There's 490 deaths are still not acceptable. People like Jess needs a transplant, and we're working every day to find and resolve that situation.
Let me come to Carol first, and then Jess after that. You did do that, and you made what must be the toughest decision for any family to allow this to happen. Talk us through that.
Was a blood donor, and you
could have jumped, you know.
Maybe 2 years ago that she had signed a
Hi, Ava.
And I said, I'm really proud. She was only 29, and then Hayley had had a hemorrhage, like brain hemorrhage, and there was no hope for Hayley.
Intriguing, because I was going to ask you how you came to that conclusion, but she led the way. She'd already done the right thing.
And she made her wishes, told us what she wanted, and that helped. And then when it came to making the decision, I wanted her wishes.
What would you say to folk listening who are unknown?
Now, the organ donation team are absolutely amazing. They get you through, they're caring, they're compassionate, and they respected Hayley and the family, and they got us through, and that's all credit to the NHS.
Which brings us to you. Nervous?
Yeah, I'm very nervous.
September last year, you were.
I've been waiting 8 months, since September the 15th. And in the last 3 to 4 weeks, I've had 3 crews up to Oxford as backup. So I've been up to speed. I've had a good few dummy runs now, so I now know what to expect, and now I'm waiting.
I'm thinking on what Carol said, they look after you as you go through that process.
The staff are just completely amazing. On that note, I really wanted to just thank my dialysis nurse in London, my whole team at the Royal Free Hospital. I wouldn't be alive without them. They kept me going, they keep me going. Even this week I was in A&E on Monday. Without them, I don't know if I would be here today in the studio if they hadn't looked after me on Monday.
Yeah.
So
I think an arm went around the shoulders outside as well, didn't it? What's the 2 key things in the next 6 months, 12 months?
Well, we need to push forward on increase
online, and the rising popularity of designer breeds may be fueling an increase in the theft. Hey, Margaret explains.
Debbie Matthews holds her dog that little bit tighter after having pets stolen in the past. She now campaigns to keep dogs safe after her 2 Yorkshire Terriers were taken from her car in Surrey when she was visiting her late father, Sir Bruce Forsyth.
The word just falls apart. We want to reclassify the theft of a pet into a specific crime into its own right. Because the dog is property, there's nothing there that they can do really. It's it's like a mobile phone being stolen. You can't put a price on your dog. They're irreplaceable. They're members of the family, and it rips people's hearts out.
Over 1,900 dogs were stolen in the UK last year, an average of 5 a day. The highest number was in London, with 225 logged by the Metropolitan Police. There is, though, some improvement in the number of dogs returned. Last year, 288 were reunited with their owners. The rise in popularity of so-called designer breed bulldog means puppies like these, costing around £1,000 each, are prime targets. The Staffordshire Bull Terrier is the most commonly stolen type of dog, and some can end up being used for fighting. Owners are advised to make sure their pets are microchipped and not left alone outside shops or inside cars. As Debbie knows only too well, the loss of that special friend can be heartbreaking. Faye Barker, ITV News.
Your local news is next, and of course the weather, and I'll be back at 6:30. Till then, a very good afternoon to you. Bye-bye.
Whatever the weather, SSE Broadband sponsors the national weather.
Good afternoon to you. Well, the weather keeping us on our toes as the week draws to a close. A split set up in the last few hours with the best of the clearest skies across northern and eastern counties. Here's some gorgeous sunshine after a grey start around the northeast. That cloud now nibbles back to the coast to reveal brighter conditions inland. For the rest of us, much more in the way of cloud cover across the south and the west. Grey skies limiting the sunshine and intense downpours. Those have been on and off since the early hours, extending from the southeast through to the Midlands, the M4 corridor across to Wales. Rumbles of thunder possible as the day wears on. And temperatures not back a few degrees, but feeling quite close, quite muggy, where we've got the cloud and the moisture in the air. Where we've got the sunshine, highs of 24 or 25, but always a touch cooler around the coast with the breeze from the near North Sea. We keep a good deal of cloud, further downpours across the south and the east through this evening. It's quite close and muggy here. Elsewhere, a little more comfortable for sleeping.
Whatever the weather, SSE Broadband sponsors the national weather.
Amigo has helped over 100,000 people consolidate their debt into an affordable monthly payment. Over 20,000 people move into or furnish their home, and over 100,000 people to get on the road. With a guarantor, you can borrow between £500 and £10,000, and you could get the money in less than 24 hours. We've already helped over 300,000 people get the money they need. Start your story today on amigoloans.co.uk. Representing 49.9% APR variable.
Enjoy the Big Five at Woburn Safari Park, where the wild is closer than you think.
Some of them are alas, some are by wise, some of them are alas, some are by
You get dirty, you get clean. You Gold. Get clean and smell great with new Lease Gold Body Wash.
Life can leave its mark on our feet, leaving the skin dry and cracked. Don't ignore them. Treat them with Flexitol Heal Balm's proven formula. Your hard-working feet deserve Flexitol.
I just saved at Money Supermarket, and now I feel epic. Action Man, your soul money supermarket.
This bank holiday at Carpetright, there's up to 50% off the choice of carpets and beds, with massive savings on a range of laminate and vinyl too, plus an extra 20% off select ranges across the store in the double discount event. There's even free credit and nothing to pay for 6 months. Isn't that brilliant? Today and this weekend at Carpetright. It's the Harvey's up to half price sale, plus an extra 10% off everything. The Vanity 3-seater sofa now $1,399. Hurry, extra savings at Harvey's must end soon.
At Morrison's, all these 1 litre bottles of spirits are £16 each. Morrison's.
Save up to 60% in the Dreams Bank Holiday price drop, and there's free delivery. But hurry, the Dreams price drop ends Monday. That's what dreams are made of.
In all his time running a small business, this year has been Jimmy's toughest. So while he's proud to have helped put a roof over the heads of lots of families, he's most proud of the one who's kept over his family. He gets the most out of his money with QuickBooks, invoicing on the go to get paid faster, and automatically tracking mileage on the job. Smarter business tools for the world's hardest workers, now with up to 50% off your first 6 months. QuickBooks, back in you.
Hello again. Now the main story is in London. On day 4 of the public inquiry into the Grenfell fire, there have been yet more emotional tributes to relatives of those who died.
Amal, Ahmadine, and Mahananeh Tuku, their 3-year-old daughter, Amaya, and their cousin, Amna Mahmood, all lost their lives. Amal's sister today told the panel that she'll never accept her family are gone.
Till this day, and for the rest of my life, I will never accept that they're gone. And that I will never see them again, and I will never be able to feel their warmth, their kind and loving hearts. I will continue planning Amaya's life. What she will be doing today, tomorrow, her 10th birthday.
Police are searching for the husband of a woman who was found dead at a flat in Bromley. 31-year-old Sophie Kavanagh's death on Sunday was initially treated as unexplained. The detectives have now begun a murder investigation. They want to trace her estranged husband, Martin. The group behind Southern, Thameslink and Great Northern trains is expecting to make more profit this year than expected. It comes in a week where passengers have faced disruption from a major timetable overhaul. Go Ahead say it is continuing to improve services. The Shoreditch model who was attacked by a pit bull was told by City London that she's determined to get her career back on track. Suzelle McIntosh has been left with permanent facial scars following the ordeal in Australia on New Year's Eve. Doctors say she could have lost her eye.
My insecurities got really bad. I contemplated whether I should be around or not. I got really low, but it was the support and all the help from my friends and family that got me to stay strong and know that everything was going to be okay eventually.
Finally, with 7 months to go until London's latest train line opens, footage has been released of the Elizabeth line being tested. Trains are currently being operated between Abbey Wood and Canary Wharf, a part of the route which will be automated when those services launch in December. Now, Chris's weather.
Good afternoon. Yes, some pretty warm weather over the next few days, but we've got a little bit of a fly in the ointment in the short term. Some heavy and thundery showers for the next 24 hours. Some of those showers already or down towards the far southwest of the capital. Temperatures though reaching highs of 22, maybe 23 degrees Celsius across the capital through today. As we work through this evening and overnight, those showers will continue for a time. The brighter colours suggesting the heavier pulses. Don't take the location of the showers quite literally. You'll see another feature beginning to swing its way through as we're working the second part of the night. Again, some heavy and thundery showers could be mixed in there too. A fairly humid night and also some mist and murk just filtering its way down through the Thames estuary. As we go through the day tomorrow, though, it turns a lot drier. We'll see some glimmers of sunshine beginning to poke their way through as well as the cloud gradually breaks during the afternoon. That will allow the temperatures just to rise around 23 or 24 degrees Celsius, and it turns warmer for the bank holiday weekend.
Live vividly this summer with the ITV podcast, sponsored by Pyrenees Hay Fever Relief Nasal Spray.
As for the pollen, over the next few days, it stays low through today with those heavy and thundery showers around, becoming moderate though as we work into the bank holiday weekend, and it stays like that too, with grass pollen being most predominant.
Well, that's it from us, but coming up on the programme this evening, ahead of the 70th anniversary of the NHS, we'll be meeting the two twin brothers from North London who for the last 27 years have dedicated their lives to the ambulance service. Charlie White will be here for that. But from me and the whole lunch night, very good afternoon to you. Bye-bye.
Ben Shepherd is here with Tipping Point, and for now though, it's Judgment Day crime stories.
It's time for me to do something about what happened.
This programme is sponsored by Patient Claim Line, medical negligence specialists.
Coming up on Judge Reader's Crime Stories.
He came back screaming, and I mean screaming, went straight through me, and he said, "Someone has taken her. She's gone."
Everybody
knew the name April Jones. Where is she? What's happened to her? Please, 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 just let her be back.
It was torture. I just felt helpless. I just want to hold my arms.
And later,
And he just turned down to the end of his road. So you just don't expect anything to go wrong in his little side highway.
But what he did at that stage was to pull the knife out of the sheath. And then I lost all control.
He's a 76-year-old man. This type of thing just shouldn't happen to anyone, let alone someone of that age.
It's every parent's worst nightmare, their child being abducted. In October 2012, Diffid Powers Police instigated the UK's first nationwide child rescue alert, a tactic that had been used in America, where high-profile appeals warned the whole country of a child's disappearance within hours. A child rescue alert is only activated when a child is known to have been abducted or that their life is believed to be at immediate risk. This is a case that resulted in the biggest ever search in Britain. This is the case of April Jones.
1st of October 2012 in Rosepups, Mid Wales. It was just a normal Monday tea time in the Jones household. Coral and her husband Paul were with their youngest daughter April and had a friend around for tea.
It's like an everyday Monday. She had sketchy on toast with her friend, ate it all. We were quite shocked because she was a fatty eater.
April's older sister Jasmine was also in the house, ready to head out.
I used to go to a youth club. Gave her a quick hi, said, "Oh, I'll see you later. I'll come and say goodnight. Do you want to come in? I'll love you lot. See you later. Bye." And she said, "Love you too. See you later." And then she went next door to play with her friend. And then another friend was there. And then she asked if they could take the other friend home, which we said yes. It was like 7 o'clock at night. And we don't normally let her out that late, but because it was a nice night, it was still sunny, it was still light, it was only through there, straight back, so we didn't mind.
When she didn't come straight back, Coral sent April's brother Harley to go and look for her.
He came back screaming, and I mean, screaming, went straight through me. He was running back with her bike. And he said, "Someone has taken her." He said, "She's gone." And we knew something was wrong because her bike was left behind. And we knew she went everywhere on the bike. I got on the phone to the police. Halfway through the conversation, I threw the phone to my friend to carry on because I wanted to go and search for her.
April was just 5 years old. She was the youngest of the family's 3 children.
She was born 7 weeks premature, so she was sent onwards to Swansea Hospital. Well, she was in intensive care, she had a fit. And that left her with mild cerebral palsy down her left-hand side, from the hip down. April was the Sanchez family. Everything revolved around April. Because of the cerebral palsy, she couldn't walk, felt out getting tired and in pain. So she learned to ride her bike without stabilizers at a very young age. If she shouts at you, she'll say that my legs are hurting or I'm hurting. You just pick her up, take her upstairs, take her where she wants to go. April and the bike went everywhere together. Her and that bike, you couldn't separate them. You really couldn't.
April was not with her bike. Something was seriously wrong.
I even looked in bins. I was looking in people's gardens. I was just looking wherever I could for her. police all inside the house. And I saw a family friend outside, so I ran to a family friend. I was like, what's going on? What's happening? There's police everywhere. And she goes, April's been taken. They reckon she's gone into a car. I genuinely thought she's just in a friend's house. Time's gone past 5 and she doesn't have a clue. When I saw the amount of police officers there, I think it kind of hit me that it was actually real.
Word of April's disappearance rippled throughout the estate. Neighbours immediately started to search for her.
On the Brynagog estate, which lies on the outskirts of the town, the police searched homes, while residents began to mobilise.
Jasmine's friend Ryan was one of those searching.
It was a flurry of activity. There were people in their dressing gowns and their pajamas, people who were just hanging around, were basically going door to door looking under things, calling April's name. It wasn't just the Joneses' daughter had gone. It felt like Mahuntlef's daughter had gone. When everything happened, everyone pulled together.
Difford Parish Police knew that the first few hours of this investigation were vital. Local BBC Wales news correspondent Brendan Williams was covering developments in his breaking news story. We knew from the very first minute this was serious. A 5-year-old girl was out there. She was on her own. It was October. It was dark. And she needed to be found. The police's first lead came from a young friend who had been with April at the time of her disappearance. The friend had said April got into a car with a man. Now, this evidence was crucial because her friend described April getting into the car, not being carried or forced into the car, getting into the car, and she was happy and she was smiling. And the other crucial bit of evidence was her friend described what you would normally associate as the driver's side of the vehicle. That's where she got in. Police were looking for a left-hand drive vehicle. Difford Parish Police were now dealing with a child abduction. They chose to launch the first ever National Child Alert. It tells you that
I've only got
the
5
child
left.
is missing. The child is possibly in imminent danger. And by putting out
Sorry,
this
baby,
alert,
I didn't know you were
basically
there.
all the UK forces, so it's a UK-wide alert. The search continued throughout the night.
Last night, many descended on the town's leisure centre where the search for April was coordinated, all wanting to help.
April's family waited, hoping for news. You switch on the TV.
Did you leave Rose with access or not?
Search was being covered.
Did you leave her in the house?
Parents and their children all
Pardon?
put normal life on hold to join search parties.
I mean, not without having her in this
Receiving
room.
offers of help from America, Australia. There were people being bussed in from Manchester, Liverpool, all wanting to help. Everybody knew the name April Jones. Everybody was just hooked by this story. Where is she? What's happened to her? Please, 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 just let her be found. The police called a press conference and read a statement from the family.
Last night,
On the side, and
do the same, please.
there, and first the teddies. You just don't know what to feel. My heart breaks all the time.
Knock the dogs out of here.
It was torture. I just felt helpless.
Overnight, the police built a list of people of interest.
I'm going to come in here first. Yeah. Can you just try not to disturb the puppies? Let's see them up, please. Right, okay. Make sure you look up, please. Right. If Margaret comes, oh, can you put the butter away? Margaret comes to the plants, they're on the puppy room floor. They're on the table. Out of the way of the dogs. literally like bathing out there. It's quite long. You okay? Yeah, I'm good. Can we get the train? Because you can go to Highbury and Islington and then get the overground from there. That's what you normally do, isn't it? I've only ever done it on either the underground or the high speed rail from St Pancras. That's very expensive. But yeah, let's get the overground from Highbury and Islington. How long does that take? 15 minutes. So does the tube. Yeah, it's the same, isn't it? Yeah. But just means we don't have to go into London and deal with tubes. I just yeah, same. So what? You look nice. Thank you. I'm not sure if this is literally off the shoulder, but I don't like it off the shoulder. I think it is meant to be off the shoulder. I don't like off the shoulder though. I do. Have a look at this sec. I'm never mind this house, it recycles. No, my dad's like recycling that. Yeah, yeah, you like me and your dad. Your dad's a recycling Nazi. That's jokes. Hello, puppy walkies. Don't make them up too much because they're settled and then they're going to be alone for a while. So just let them sleep. And stop. Oh, they're my favourite. Did I tell you that you look nice? No, you didn't. Didn't I? Yeah. Didn't I? So I think it's meant to be like that. Yeah. But personally, I prefer it like that. Why? You can wear it both ways. I've eaten lunch, but we can get dinner out. I'm going to be starving. I only had some cereal. Who's excited for a holiday? I'm so excited. Yeah, you need to tan, you're well pale. I fake tan because I'm still this pale. I know. You should need a fake tan. Can you believe it? So embarrassing. I'm really tasty. Can you hurry up? Like, do you actually have any idea of the time? Do you know what I mean? Like, we're there a couple hours. It's open till 9. I don't care. You are so slow. Aren't you ludicrous? Aren't you ludicrous? It's my last day at school tomorrow.